Have you ever noticed how a single moment can feel impossibly long, while an entire year disappears almost instantly? Think about it. Waiting for a message from someone you care about can stretch seconds into eternity. Yet when you look back at your childhood, decades collapse into something that feels like yesterday. So here is a simple question, one so ordinary that we rarely stop to examine it. Are we actually moving through time, or is something else moving through us? Most of us grow up believing time is like a river. The past flows away behind us, the present is the water touching our skin, and the future rushes toward us from somewhere unknown. It feels obvious, natural, almost too obvious to question. But what if that feeling, that deep certainty, is only a story told by our minds? Over a century ago, Albert Einstein quietly suggested something astonishing. He wrote that the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion, not a metaphor, not poetry, an illusion. At first glance, this sounds absurd. After all, yesterday clearly happened, tomorrow clearly hasn't, and right now feels uniquely real. You are sitting here breathing, watching, existing in this very instant. How could this moment not be special? And yet, physics began whispering a different story. Let's begin somewhere simple. Imagine you are sitting on a train platform. Another train passes by at high speed. Inside that train, someone drops a ball. To the passenger, the ball falls straight down. Simple. Ordinary. But to you, watching from the platform, the ball traces a curved path through space. Two observers. Two different descriptions of the same event. Neither is wrong. Already reality is less solid than it seems. Now imagine something stranger. Lightning strikes both ends of the train at exactly the same time, at least according to you on the platform. The flashes reach your eyes together. You declare confidently, the strikes were simultaneous. But the passenger inside the moving train disagrees. Because the train is moving toward one flash and away from the other, the light reaches them at different times. For them, one strike happened before the other. Who is correct? Einstein's answer shocked the world. Both are correct. Simultaneity itself, the idea that two events happen at the same time, depends on how you are moving. Pause for a moment and let that sink in. If observers cannot agree on what now means, then where exactly is the present? We live as though the universe shares a single cosmic clock. But physics says no such universal clock exists. Your now is not the same as someone else's now, especially if they are moving differently or standing near a massive object like a planet or a star. The present, the very thing we feel most certain about, begins to dissolve. Imagine slicing reality like a loaf of bread. Each slice represents a moment in time. You assume everyone shares the same slice, the same present moment. But relativity reveals that each observer cuts the loaf at a different angle. What is future for you may already be past for someone else. And suddenly time stops behaving like a flowing river. Instead it starts to resemble a landscape. Vast, complete, already laid out. Picture a long road stretching across mountains. From ground level you see only the bend ahead. The past disappears behind hills, and the future remains hidden. Yet from high above the entire road exists at once, beginning, middle and end, equally real. Einstein's universe looks more like that aerial view. Physicists call this the block universe, not because it is rigid or lifeless, but because all events, every heartbeat, every star explosion, every conversation, exist within a four-dimensional structure called space-time. In this picture, you are not traveling through time. You are a path already written within it. That idea feels unsettling. If the future already exists, does that mean everything is predetermined? Are our choices illusions? Before we rush there, notice something subtle. The block universe does not remove experience. It only changes perspective. Imagine a movie stored on a film reel. Every frame exists simultaneously on the strip. Yet when projected, the story unfolds moment by moment, creating emotion, suspense, surprise. The characters inside the film experience change, even though the entire story already exists. Perhaps consciousness is like the projector. But why would our minds experience time as flowing if physics suggests otherwise? Let's return to something familiar, memory. You remember the past, but not the future. That seems obvious, yet it hides a mystery. The laws of physics mostly work the same forward and backward. A video of planets orbiting looks believable whether played forward or reversed. Equations rarely prefer a direction. So where does the arrow of time come from? The answer lies not in clocks, but in disorder. Imagine dropping a glass onto the floor. It shatters into pieces. You never see shards spontaneously leap together to form a perfect glass. Both are allowed by physics, yet one almost never happens. Why? Because there are far more ways for things to be messy than ordered. The universe naturally moves toward increasing disorder, what scientists call entropy. The past feels fixed because it is more ordered. The future feels open because disorder can grow in many directions. Time's flow may not be fundamental at all. It may emerge from statistics like the direction smoke spreads in air. And suddenly the sensation of moving forward becomes less about the universe itself and more about how information accumulates in our brains. We are memory-creating creatures walking along a structure that already exists. But now a deeper question emerges. If all moments exist equally, why do we feel located at only one point? Consider a book. Every page exists simultaneously, yet you read one line at a time. The story unfolds because your awareness scans through it. The movement belongs not to the pages, but to the reader. Could consciousness be scanning space-time? Roger Penrose often suggested that reality contains layers of mystery not captured by simple computation. Perhaps awareness itself participates in selecting the now we experience, not creating time, but illuminating one slice of it. Think about your younger self. That child still exists in space-time just as surely as you do now, according to relativity. Not alive in the present, but not erased either. A permanent region of the universe. In a strange sense, nothing truly disappears. Every laugh, every mistake, every quiet afternoon remains woven into the fabric of reality. This thought carries unexpected comfort. Moments are not lost. They are simply elsewhere in the structure. But then comes an even stranger implication. If different observers disagree about what events are simultaneous, then somewhere in the cosmos an observer moving differently might consider parts of your future already part of their past. Your tomorrow may already exist from another perspective. Reality stops being a story that unfolds and becomes a sculpture, timeless and complete. And yet we still feel change. We age. Stars burn out. Civilizations rise and fall. How can change be real if everything already exists? The answer may lie in relationships rather than motion. Change is not about moments appearing or vanishing. It is about differences between regions of space-time. Just as a mountain does not grow while you look at it, it simply has height. A life may not unfold, but simply possess duration. You are not a moving point. You are an extended shape in time. Right now, you are a cross-section of something far larger, your entire life. This idea feels almost impossible to grasp, because evolution trained our brains for survival, not cosmic truth. Experiencing a flowing present helps us act, decide, and adapt. The illusion of time may be useful, even necessary. But usefulness does not guarantee fundamental reality. And here the mystery deepens again. Quantum physics, the theory governing the smallest scales, introduces uncertainty. Events are not perfectly determined until interactions occur. Some physicists believe this reintroduces genuine openness into the future. Others argue the block universe still survives, only branching into many possibilities. We stand between two great ideas, a frozen cosmic structure and a universe continually becoming. Perhaps both are incomplete glimpses of something deeper. Penrose himself suspected that time might emerge from processes we do not yet understand, possibly linked to gravity, consciousness, or structures beyond current mathematics. So we return to our original question. If past, present, and future are illusions, what is truly real? Maybe reality is not about moments passing, but about patterns existing. A symphony does not exist in a single note. Its meaning lies in the relationships across time. Remove duration, and music vanishes. Likewise, existence may be a harmony stretched across space-time. You are not just who you are now, you are the entire melody. And suddenly everyday experience looks different. Waiting, remembering, hoping, these are not signs of time flowing, but signs of awareness moving through a timeless structure. The clock on the wall measures change, not time itself. The ticking is not the river. It is only our way of counting differences. So the next time you feel a moment slipping away, consider this possibility. Nothing is truly slipping anywhere. The moment remains permanently etched into the architecture of the universe. You are not losing the present. You are continuously discovering parts of something that already is. And perhaps the greatest mystery is not whether time is real, but why the universe allows beings like us to experience eternity, one fragile instant at a time. If every moment exists, then somewhere in space-time you are still a child, still laughing, still dreaming of the future you now inhabit. And somewhere ahead, already written yet unknown to you, another version of yourself is asking questions you cannot yet imagine. So here is the thought I want to leave you with. If the future already exists, are you moving toward it? Or is it quietly waiting for you to become aware of it? And if the present is only an illusion created by consciousness, then what exactly is doing the experiencing? And perhaps that is where the mystery becomes most personal. Because up to now we have spoken about trains, lightning, space-time and distant observers, ideas large enough to feel safely abstract. But the true strangeness of time appears when we bring the question back to ourselves. Close your eyes for a moment and remember something simple. Maybe a childhood afternoon, the smell of rain, the sound of laughter, sunlight entering a room at a certain angle. Notice how vividly it returns. Not perfectly, not completely, but undeniably present in your awareness. Where was that moment a second ago? If the past no longer exists, how can something absent still shape your emotions now? A memory can make your heart race, your eyes soften, or your mood change instantly. Something that is supposedly gone still acts upon the present. It is almost as if the past is not destroyed, only inaccessible except through traces left inside us. Physics quietly agrees. Information, according to our best theories, is never truly erased. It changes form, spreads, becomes harder to reconstruct, but it does not simply vanish. The universe keeps a record, written not in ink but in relationships between particles and fields. So perhaps memory is not a reconstruction of something lost, but a faint connection to another region of space-time. And then another question appears. Why do we remember the past but not the future? If all moments exist equally, why is our awareness pointed in only one direction? Imagine walking through a vast library in total darkness with a small flashlight. The books are already there, thousands of stories complete from beginning to end, but you can only read the page illuminated by the beam. Behind you, pages remain written. Ahead of you, pages also exist, but the light has not reached them yet. The limitation belongs to the flashlight, not the library. Our consciousness may be that beam. It gathers information from one direction, because entropy, the growth of disorder, leaves records behind. The past contains traces, footprints in sand, photons reaching your eyes, neural patterns stored in your brain. The future contains no such records yet accessible to you. So the arrow of time may not be a property of reality itself, but a property of knowledge. We move toward the unknown simply because we cannot see it yet. This realization changes something subtle but profound. The future stops being an empty void rushing toward us and becomes a hidden part of reality waiting beyond our current awareness. And suddenly anticipation feels different from fear. Think about how often we worry about tomorrow as if it were unreal and threatening. But in a block universe view, tomorrow is not chaos forming from nothing. It is structure already part of the same cosmic fabric that produced galaxies, stars, and you. You are not falling into randomness. You are unfolding within coherence. Yet we still make choices. We deliberate, hesitate, change our minds. How can choice exist if the future already resides within space-time? Consider again a film reel. Every frame exists, yet the character inside the story still faces uncertainty. Their decisions matter within the narrative, even if the entire arc is fixed from an external perspective. Meaning arises from experience, not from cosmic indeterminacy. From inside life, possibilities feel real because knowledge is limited. Freedom may not require an unwritten universe, only an unwritten experience. And maybe that is enough. Roger Penrose often emphasized that human understanding carries a mysterious depth. Consciousness does not merely calculate, it perceives meaning. When you recognize beauty, when a piece of music moves you, when a scientific idea suddenly clicks, something occurs that feels richer than mechanical processing. Perhaps our experience of time belongs to that deeper layer. Instead of asking whether time is real, we might ask why reality allows experience to feel dynamic at all. Why should a timeless structure produce the sensation of becoming? Some physicists suspect that consciousness and time are intertwined more deeply than we yet understand. Not in a mystical sense, but in a way future science may eventually describe, where awareness plays a role in how events are organized or perceived. We do not yet know, and that ignorance is not a failure. It is an invitation, because every major scientific revolution began when ordinary assumptions were questioned. The Earth felt stationary until we realized it moves. Space felt empty until we discovered invisible fields shaping everything. Time feels obvious, and perhaps that is precisely why it hides its greatest secret. Look around you right now. The room seems stable, ordinary, predictable, yet every object contains atoms vibrating, exchanging energy, interacting across invisible geometries of space-time. Beneath familiarity lies profound strangeness. Reality has always been deeper than intuition. Maybe the illusion of time is not meant to deceive us, but to guide us, allowing finite minds to navigate an infinite structure, a way for consciousness to explore existence step by step, rather than all at once. After all, imagine experiencing your entire life simultaneously, every joy and sorrow compressed into a single awareness, meaning itself might disappear. Sequence gives story its emotional power. Without before and after, there is no anticipation, no growth, no learning. The illusion of time may be the price of meaning. And so we arrive somewhere unexpected. Einstein's insight does not make life colder or more mechanical. Instead, it makes existence strangely precious. Every moment you live is not fleeting dust vanishing forever, but a permanent feature of the universe's geometry. Your experiences are not erased by passing seconds. They become part of reality itself. Somewhere within space-time, this very moment, you listening, thinking, wondering, exists eternally as one small but unique pattern in the cosmic design. Perhaps that is why curiosity feels so natural to us. We are beings temporarily aware of only a slice of something vastly larger. Each question expands the illuminated region just a little more. And maybe the greatest discovery is not that time is an illusion, but that reality is far richer than the story our senses first told us. So the next time you hear a clock ticking, pause and listen carefully, not as a countdown, not as something slipping away, but as a reminder that change is how consciousness measures its journey through a timeless universe. The sound is not time passing, it is awareness noticing difference. And somewhere beyond what you can currently perceive, countless other moments of your life exist quietly, complete and unmoving, waiting not to happen, but to be understood.